Okay, so I'll give you the real-time definition. Then you will understand better what is the use case of view. Okay, so first I'm just pulling the data from this table. Okay, let me copy this data. Okay, I pasted the data here. This is the data what I have. Okay, now this is the base data. Hmm? Okay, this is base table, means actual table. Now, if you want to see specific columns and a specific data set, okay. Hmm, okay. If you want to see specific column and a specific data set, however you want, okay, it is kind of a select statement. Okay, kind of a select statement in the sense whatever the data you want to see in this result, right? You can write a select statement, and that select statement you can, if you want to permanently store in the database, okay, that query itself, okay, you can convert that into view, and using that view you can retrieve the data. How that is possible, I'll show you. For example, this is the base data, right? And in this base data, and if you want to see the only student ID, okay, and the student name, hmm, and only the uh, area ID 1 and 2. If you want to display the data, area ID 1 and 2, then how will you write the query? Generally, you will be writing a query like this. Am I correct? Select star from, no. I need only specific columns, right? These two columns. So I'll give the select statement in these two columns, and then, and I have a requirement where student area ID 1 and 2, right? So, okay, area ID in 1 comma 2. Hmm. Now I'm executing this data, correct? Now, after executing this data, I got the same result what I want, correct? So for this, this is the area ID 1 and 2, because we are not selecting in the select list, so that you can see only 1 and 2. But you got the exact data what you have. So this is the proof. For 1 and 2, you have a 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 4. Correct. And here, how many we have? 1. Here also we have 1, 2, 3. Okay. Here also we have a 1, 2. Okay. And this 1, 2, 4. Totally 3 records we got. So these three, right? These three are the output. Now, every time, okay, if you want the same result or a different days, okay. So this, if you want to see every day this kind of data, okay, then instead of select statement, you can create a view so that this the query and the view will be stored in your database, and this will not store data in your table. Whenever you fetch the uh, view, right, at that time backend it will run the query. How? I'll show you now. Okay, the view already we know, right? Create, okay, view, view name as the select statement. So whenever you are going to create a view, it is just a select statement, and you know whether my query is running fine or not. And then if you want to store permanently in this query in database, then you need to create a view. Okay. So by creating a view, will it store the data, or is it any problem with the uh, you know uh, uh, storing the means storing this query into a cloud. So will it charge means no. Generally, it is very less only because just you will have around 10, 500 columns or something, right? So that will be very less only. So, but whenever you execute a view, at that time, what will happen? It will hit this query. Okay, that view hit this query because you are linking, connecting this view to this query. Okay, so now you see, I'll copy paste this one. Okay, this select statement. Now, if I run this select statement, what will happen? I'll get this data, right? This one, because I have selected only particular columns, right? Okay, this data. I'll get this data. It displays the data. When after creating, using this query, okay, I'll create a view. What view? Student, something. Huh? Student underscore view. I have given a name like this. So what I will do, I will trigger this view. When I trigger this view, what will happen? This view execute this query and whatever the select statement you have given the column names, right? Accordingly, it will display the data in your window. Okay, so this is how view. This is simple. If I see our own eyes, right, whatever you are seeing, that will display. I mean, you can visualize that. Similarly, this view also same. However you are writing a query, how you want the output, right? Similar output you want to see, same result you will get it. Because your base will have a more data and in the view, whenever you need a column, whatever the columns you require, and those columns you can write here and you can create a view. So that what is the advantages of this view? First of all, yeah, I can create a view. So instead of see, what is the difference between view and table mainly? Means for this table also what you need? Same select statement. Okay, you need a same select statement. And what you have to do? You need to write a query here. How you need to write a query? I'll show you. So here this is the query. Okay. Now what I will do? I'll create a table. And then what I'll do, I'll write a syntax insert into table. Okay, insert into table student stage underscore student. Okay, select start from. I'll give. Then what it does, the data will be loaded permanently in the database. So here two operations are happening. One is storage, right? Another one is computation. Storage means what? So you have executed this data, right? Whatever the data retrieved by this select statement, the data will be stored under here. So whether it is a 1 GB, whether it is a 2 GB, whatever, okay, whatever the data will be stored, then that will be amount will be deducted for that. And as well as this computation, what will happen? This computation, this select statement, how much time it has taken, that amount it will retrieve. Okay, this is what. Now, same query, if you create a view, okay, create, create view name, okay, stage underscore student underscore view. Then what will happen? Okay, now this query will be stored, okay, and the database. I mean, the entire this view will be stored in the database, but data won't be stored. Okay, why? Because you have written a view. It is like this will store the data query what exactly you want the data. Now here, what is the difference mainly? Mainly the difference is storing the data, and here main difference is just this query will be stored in the database. Now when you fetch the data, okay, now you want to see this data, right? Then you need to write a query like this. Then what will happen? You have triggered a stage student view. So what it does, this view triggers inside this select statement. Then it will pull the data. It means what? Just if you want to validate any data, you don't want to store permanently, then you just go ahead to create a view. There are some cases, okay, there are some cases at that time you don't require to store the data. Okay, you don't require to store the data in some cases. At that time, use a view or you create a simple CET tables. Okay, like that, you need to decide whether do I require. For example, now after creating the data, I mean after creating a view or table, in case if you want to validate the data or you are using for any validation, at that time, yes, I agree, you create a table. Okay. But in case just for loading the data and you have other dependencies, then yes, you go ahead with the creating a view. So that what will happen actually, the storage will be reduced here. Okay. In case if you want to do any validation, then every time this query will run. Okay. At that time, it will take some time because here you will be running one time, but here whenever you want to validate the data, then every time you need to run this view so that inside this view, this select statement will be triggered. So for example, now this view to get the result, it is taking 1 hour. Okay. And here also it's a taking to load the data 1 hour. Consider like this. And you are doing some validations. Okay. That validation itself, it is taking here for you to complete 2 hours. And here also it is taking every time it's a 2 hours for validation. Hmm? Now, what will happen? Whenever you are executing here, what will happen? You are directly pulling the data from this table, which is already loaded here. So it will take actually, compared to this, it will take oh, less than 2 hours, less than 1 hour. Because the result output already is there. So you are on top of that, you are doing the validation. So here the time will be reduced actually. But here what will happen? You are not saved the data in the database. You have just created a view. So at that time, what will happen? The query, every time it will fetch the query and then give you the output. On top of that, you are going to do the validation. So then what will happen in this case? Your time will be increased. Okay, and your cost will be increased. So whenever you develop any query, okay, and you need to feel when you are creating that, right? At that time, if you feel yes, I don't want to create any extra query or extra table, it is not required at that much importance to validate. At that time, create a view better. Okay, so instead of a view, also better you write a CET tables, temporary tables. Even CT tables, you don't require the storage also. I mean, you don't require a creating the views as well. So how that is means CT table, it is very simple. Now what you do, you will be creating it with hmm, same. I will give you this CET table. Open bracket. Select star from this one. See, this is also same. So, but what will happen? This means this one, if you run this one, you will get the data, but immediately it will vanish. Vanish in the sense this is temporary location or temporary table. After completion of this task, this will not be exist in the database. It means you will not find the query, you will not find the data as well. This will not store in the database. So that cost also it will be reduced. Here we at least it will store some data to some query. Okay. But here, no. But in the actual query, you will have. It is not like that you are not storing anywhere. You will be storing the query, but the query will be their actual query. Hmm. So this is the difference between the actual, table and view CET tables. So under that, is it really important? Yes, 100% it is very important when you are creating a view. So whenever, but you need to define whether you give a single letter or whether you give a full word. Okay. So this is very important, the view, because at that time when you don't want to store the data, just you need some layer to just retrieve at that time, then better you go with the view. It is very, very important. Okay. And here we have written a query, right? I'll show you. Uh, hmm. Here we have written a query, correct, with ABC. Same like this. So what will happen? Okay, this will be there in the query. Means this is also same. This will not store the query. Okay, but in case if you are reading this query from any control table or from anywhere, then yes, that is good actually. Okay, but the view, if you are manually running the query, okay, in that case view is very important. Why? Because you can find that view in the database itself. So anyone can access that view and they can run the view also. For example, okay, as I mentioned yesterday, right? Okay, so there is a reconciliation report. Hmm? There is a reconciliation report. You are doing manual activity. Okay, so you are running a query, so you have some blah blah select statement or something, and you are doing validation and you are updating in Excel. Okay, so now one day you left the company, and before lefting before leaving the company, you didn't give any explanation and anything. You forgot and you left the company, and the query is also with you. And the new joinee, he didn't get the all the details. And on next day, if a team lead or manager asks you to run this reconciliation report, and you don't have that information, he is running manually by select statement or by using this with statement. Okay. And now what is the problem here is? The problem here is you don't know what is query. So at that time, if you create a view, generally, when you call him, okay, then what will happen? By phone also, I can say, just search with this name, you will find that. So this query will be stored. Okay. So sometimes you have a advantages, sometimes you have a disadvantage. But by having a view, I see only advantages. Okay, because the query length, it is very simple. But only the thing is, when you will have a problem by having a view means, if you are doing a validation on every time, right, then you will have a problem. Okay, at that time only. For example, I'll tell you one more thing. This is best example, I hope, in the real time also what I have seen. Okay, you created a view. Okay, that view you have given to your business team, and to pull the data from this. Okay, for there to do the reconciliation, data validation, and everything. Okay, you have given a view. So whenever they are using Power BI or any data validation, okay, at that time, every time they are fetching a view and using this view, what is happening? Every time the actual query is triggering it. Okay, 100 people are running same view. Okay, what will happen at that time? The actual query will be triggering and pulling the data for their validation purpose. At that time, this will be the cost will be huge, because entire query it has to trigger every time. So instead of that, in case if you have this kind of validation, better go with the permanent table. Permanent table. Okay, if you go with the permanent table, just you instead of running entire query, you will have just a select star from. Okay, select star from actual table. So this will be pulling the data. On top of they do their operations, and this team also pulls the data, and on top of they do also transformations. Okay, so that kind of thing you need to analyze. So generally, who will take care this kind of decisions? Generally, team lead will be taking care this kind of decisions. Whether do I need to create a view, or do I need to create a table? Okay, but compared to a architect or lead, better we need to take a decision because we know what kind of validation we are doing. Okay, we know how we need to do the validation, right? So that time you have to decide whether do I create a view or is it necessary to create a table. If you have a proper reason to create a permanent table, then go ahead and create it. Okay, in case if you don't have a actual reason, and then go ahead with the creating a view or CET table. Better always, if you want to reduce the cost, you go with the CET table always. Okay, if you don't want, and whether you want to view or to see the query or permanently store in the database, yes, go with this view. Okay, and always better than use this one. Always. Okay, permanent table. Okay, now coming to the view. In this view, this is the linkage. Okay, so what will happen when you want to see the data? Okay, so when you want to see the data, this view it triggers to select query, and you will get this data. Okay, when you are fire with the select. Okay, this select what it does, it will trigger to a view. Okay, and view goes to the select statement, and it will give the result. So whatever the result of this select statement satisfied, that data will be you can able to get it. So on top of that, yes, you can do any operations. In case if you want to filter any data, okay, just write a simple select star from, okay, view, and where, okay, the student ID. Okay, something like this you can write a view. So see, there are many ways we can perform the queries. Okay, so using the same result. Okay, here I'm writing a query, right? Okay, so I'll show you. On top of that, I can write a select statement also. Select the star from, okay, open bracket and a close bracket, where and student ID equal to, again, equal to 1. Then first what it is, it will pull the data, this two, and then on top of that you are doing some operation. So same way you can write for this CET table, here you can write again where student ID equal to 1. Hmm, like this. You will get the only one. And here also view, how will you write? Select star from this view. Same result you will get. Yeah. Okay, here also what will happen? The above, select a star from, hmm, stay student, where you will get the same result. Now what will happen? So already this data got stored, and when you select the data, it will give you the faster when compared to view. But here you will have a less data, so it will give you same result. But in case if you have more data, yes, you can feel some differences because this data got permanently stored in the database. And the same view here, what it does, it will go and fetch the data from the base table. After that, you are running a where condition. So it will take some minor difference you can find. And this is also same. First it will fetch the data, and then it will pull the data. But the thing is, when compared to these two, Okay, this is very much faster actually because it does not require any storage. Huh? It does not require to pull the data. I mean, view. So directly what it does, it will keep the memory and give you the result. So here it goes to the same, but a little bit difference you can find here. Okay, but performance wise, yes, this will give you the booster for you. Hmm? And this is same query. Okay, then you will get the data. Okay. Now you see same. I'll execute select star. This is called a subquery. Same. Okay, same query you can write multiple ways how you want. Okay, there are many ways we can write. No query result. Right? Hmm. You have okay. Then what is the problem? Student ID. Hmm. Why you are not getting? Why it is not getting the data? Hmm. Student ID. Okay. Let me why. Hmm. Hmm.
Anna B dot student ID equal to 1.
ఏం problem. Okay? You are getting this data here. Okay, sorry. Here we have given a student ID, right? We are missed. Hmm. Hmm. So don't have one. Student ID is different. Hmm. Okay, 1, 2, 3, you got the data. Hmm. So same result. If you see here, value we have given a wrong. See, we gave the wrong input and we are expecting what we need. So that is the problem. Now, this is a situation. So how much time it has taken? 138 milliseconds. Okay, the above query. Hmm? Now you see this one, how much time it will take. What says? This is select as I must ask. 138 milliseconds. See, 133 milliseconds. You see the difference, right? 33 means 5 milliseconds we have improved here. Now feel that you have a millions of data. Then that is the difference. I am showing the difference with the performance. Now I'll create a view. This one. Hmm? For view, how much time it is taking? That is important, but it is one time only. But okay. Hmm? I created a view. But before that, I need to give a schema name. Hmm. But select 1 second as hmm, create view name as select
అన్న వ్యూ స్పెల్లింగ్ తప్పు ఉంది.
view view spelling we have given wrong. Hmm. Hmm. This is 134 milliseconds. Okay. And then yeah, 1, 2, 3. Hmm. What happened again? Okay, this one, right? Schema name we didn't give. See here, 652 milliseconds. You see, this is view. It has given very worst performance. Now 67. Why? Because already you have executed same query. First time it has taken 600 milliseconds. Now the advantages of the Snowflake is the data, the same data got stored in the buffer. Okay. Same result again you have executed. So the data has been extracted from the buffer. So that is the advantage. Now you see, I'll give you the 124. Now you see, again it will take 600 or 500 milliseconds because it is again, it has to pull the data from the database. Hmm. So you need, this is also good performance. Seconds, okay, not milliseconds. So see, the performance again decreased actually. So that is the difference actually. Now, this is table. Now, first I'll create a table. Okay, create table. Table name as what happened again? And database. Okay, let me go here. Hmm. It is 86 milliseconds. Select start from this table where student ID equal to 1, 2, 3. Okay, 460 milliseconds. So the best performance, which one? The CET table we have seen. So like this. So whenever it comes to the performance issue side, then you need to just check now, see 45 milliseconds because same query you executed, right, already. So on top of that, in the buffer itself, it has given. So this kind of generally when you do the validation, okay, in this Snowflake, the advantage is this will store under buffer. Okay. So, okay, we have a less than 1 minute. Okay. And then we will continue same topic tomorrow as well. But I want to show you how the view will be created and the different types of difference, when same result, you can get the different ways, creating a multiple, a permanent table or view or inner join. Okay. Anything, but the difference you want to see which one is the better performance. So accordingly, you need to create. But there are some cases where you need to create a permanent tables like fact tables, okay, state